Excellent introduction, excellent research. So we're here today talking about Savannah River Nuclear Solutions. We work here with the M&O contractor, the management operations contractor at the Savannah River site. Does everyone know what the Savannah River site is? Raise your hand if you do. All right, so not everybody. We're going to go through that in just a couple minutes, show you geographically where we're at located. Y'all know the agenda. This is pretty standard. Professor Dillon sets that up for us. A little background, we're a little unique compared to some of the other companies we're going to hear from this semester, and a great place to work, lots of history for the United States. So in the 1950s, SRS, the Savannah River site, began producing materials for nuclear weapons as part of the Cold War. So there's we're here celebrating, I'm not going to read all the details there, you guys can read that yourself, but we're celebrating our 75th anniversary this year in support of the United States nuclear defense missions. Our current mission that is of the utmost importance to the United States and to us as a company is that of FIT production. And what that basically means, slide, I want to make sure that we use the best sense of your time today, but we are going to be producing the plutonium pits for the nation's nuclear deterrent at the Savannah River site. So let's say that in other words. We are going to be making the material at the Savannah River site that goes inside bombs that make it go through. So we need to refresh our nuclear deterrents as a country. Most of the weapons that we currently have are 20 years old. It's time for them to be updated and new technology. So currently that's done at Los Alamos National Laboratory, and the Savannah River site has been identified as a secondary location to do that for the United States. And we are building a multi-billion-dollar production facility to do that. So we obviously need a lot of innovation, a lot of work, a lot of different jobs. Anywhere from manufacturing and touching the process to business support, IT support, so on and so forth. So this is not a job for everybody, but there is I can tell you, if you are someone that wants to contribute to something with a greater good or a larger mission, working at the Savannah River site can definitely fulfill that need for you. So the white dot kind of there in the middle of South Carolina and Georgia across the line is where the Savannah River site is located. It's 310 square miles, and we have about 13,400 people that work there. Not all of them work for Savannah River Nuclear Solutions. Some of them work for the other agencies and organizations located at the Savannah River site. That's on the left side of the screen. You can see the National Nuclear Security Administration is who we work for at the Savannah River at SRS. And we also work for the Department of Energy Savannah River operations, but there are also other federal entities that are located on the site. We have a $3.8 billion annual budget that we spend at the Savannah River site. So lots of money. That means lots of subcontracts, lots of work, lots of things to contribute to the local economy. A little bit better picture of where we're located in the green there on the bottom left. Alex did a good job of covering some of our missions. Primary mission is nuclear materials for national security. In addition to the work we're doing in creating the FIT production facilities, we are the nation's only supplier of tritium for national defense. So we use that in our weapons today. And the only place that that's done at the Savannah site has been done that way since the 50s. All right. Mission, vision, and core values. So Alex mentioned safety is important to us. It is really important to us. It's in the first part of our mission statement, and you're going to see it referenced repeatedly throughout the sides. SRS makes the world safer through disciplined performance of producing and protecting nuclear materials for our nation's security, promoting global nuclear deterrence, and protecting the environment for future generations. The material at the Savannah River site represents the biggest hazard to the environment in the state of South Carolina. In the Cold War era output that is there is the waste that is held at the Savannah River site. So we take that mission very seriously of keeping the state in the United States safe from any environmental spills or anything like that. So in addition to working towards deterrence, we also take our stewardship of keeping that material that was created in the past safe for the citizens of our country. All right. I don't want to spend too much time on these. All right. So standards of excellence. I'm not going to spend a lot of time here, but he was coaching you guys on what you should say in your interviews and how you should interact when you're going through the interview process. And I want to just touch on standards of excellence when you start working with someone, whether you're working as an intern, an apprentice, or a new employee. If a company has published standards of excellence like this, then follow them. Like, use them as a model of how you should work. If you're like, what can I do to succeed here? How can I be recognized by my leadership of being a great employee or contributor? We see these standards of excellence we have, where we've got energized and recognized teams. We give you really specific examples about recognize outstanding efforts, build strong talent. So you might not be in a position to build strong talent, but you may be in a position to say, hey, great job on the work that you did. Like, copy someone's boss on email and let them know that the work that they contributed to a project really helped you be able to accomplish your goals. So take this, follow these, do the work that it says, and you'll see yourself be able to open more doors and be recognized like, hey, they're really paying attention. So that's just a helpful tip to do as you progress in your career. If they've got something formulated like this, use it to your advantage. All right, so integrated product teams, sometimes we were called category management. Basically, any organization you work in, any company you work in, you're going to have something similar to this. You might work in an IT organization. You might work, I'm in a contracts and supply chain organization, but we have IT-oriented professionals that work within our department. Regardless of where you're housed, if you're in big IT or the little IT within my department, you're going to be a member of a greater team, right? So you're going to have to play with all the players in this team to be successful. So keep in mind when you're doing your work, it's not about your job. It's about how your job integrates with the greater whole of the organization you work for, and the impacts that you're doing affect others. So just another piece of advice about how your work affects and impacts other organizations.
The iceberg. I would prefer if you just do my slide. Also, you're doing a great job. So this iceberg is just a visualization of sort of the things that people see. Big IT, little IT, refer to as citizen IT. Everyone has technical capabilities, right? And so what we try to do is empower the end users of service. And so what you see here is a tremendous amount of scope. Our enterprise IT organization is responsible for everything that you do as far as IT delivery to the site. A 310 square mile facility. It spans 3 counties. Okay, this is a huge facility, and we run fiber all over. So if you're into telecommunications and networking, we have one of the largest production scale implementations you're going to see in the state, easily within the region. I would say definitely the southeast. So it's something just that simple and straightforward, right? Just the fiber and how we run the fiber across the 75-year-old facility. But as you look across the gambit of things that we deliver, there are 20,000 desktop computers, 20,000 desktop computers. The servers and storage, the things that people don't see, petabytes of data. We do a lot in utilizing cloud services, Azure. We're heavily invested in Azure, and we have very special requirements because the data is very sensitive, as you can imagine. So we have highly restrictive requirements on the type of cloud services that we can utilize, the data that we can put in the versus the government, the cloud, and private. So we do a lot of on-premise to cloud migration, a lot of cutting edge technology and all of that. Data centers, we run several large data centers. We're in the process of getting a couple of more data centers built, and that's part of the growth of the site. And so as we talk about this, it's exciting for us as a business. And this is my investment going on in the area. This is a huge economic engine for our economy in the state of South Carolina and Georgia. It just represents a tremendous tremendous opportunity for all of us. I don't know if there's anything here that might interest you all, but if there's anything you can think of in IT, we do. So we have a staff of employees that always forward by the amount of expertise and just the really bright people that I work around, things that we can accomplish. So there's a lot going on there to support the site and all the tenants, and we are responsible for all IT delivery for tenant on site. So we mentioned SRC, and we have a national lab there. We provide them with all that infrastructure. It's software development, databases, server support, telecommunications, telephone requests, BTC equipment, all these things that make this room work, right? And we're responsible.
So to add to it, I would say a lot of times you have to go to a different company to grow in your career. And we afford you the opportunity to grow very widely in your career and stay at the same organization. So, think about that when you're considering things with a lot of different IT disciplines that we have, and it gives you a lot of opportunity to diversify and stay at the same time.
Yeah, that's a great point. In an IT company, rarely do you get the opportunity to have this vast expanse of experiences, right? So if I wanted to go be a layer one network person, I could certainly put my name in the hat and get that opportunity, right? I am a software developer. I have loved software development my entire life. So that's my area of expertise, but I have, whether I wanted to or not, gotten experiences in other areas. I've managed enterprise cybersecurity, helped architect our cloud migration strategy, so infrastructure, and actually we have a software-defined network. So you need software skills in order to make a software-defined network actually function, right? So that's sort of the heart of a lot of what's going on now. Infrastructure is becoming code, and so we do a lot of reaching across the aisle to help all facets of IT work. And so you get exposure to a lot of different areas. So great thing. Any questions about this? This one right here, I mean, usually I get questions about cybersecurity. You see this 8 to 10 billion log entries per day? That's the right? So all these devices, of course, are we're monitoring the entire network and what's going on, and we're making sure that no data is being exfiltrated out. We're also protecting the perimeter. And so if you think we're not under attack at any given moment, you are absolutely wrong. We are constantly being attacked. Our adversaries seek to do us harm, and the primary way they can do that is through the penetration of our networks, and the data that we put out in the open is harvested incessantly. So when you think about looking for data on social media, right? Alex and I had this conversation, like, I really find a lot about you. That's by design. I don't want people to know about me. And that's sort of counter to our nature and our society. But there's an awful lot of data that we collect about the attacks that are going on at any given moment. And as you can imagine, because of our mission, we are a prime target for violence. And so that's another great opportunity, right? If you're interested in cybersecurity and being really creative about how we defend ourselves, we have some interesting opportunities.
And I think we're remiss in going back and saying, so Savannah River Mutual Solutions Management Operations Contractor. So the Department of Energy does not run their own sites where they do things. They create weaponry, they create energy. They outsource it to large corporations. And so SRMS is a company that they have outsourced the management of the Savannah River site to. So we are not federal employees. We're employees of an LLC, and our company has been awarded a federal contractor, or we're a federal contractor. We've been awarded a federal contract. So y'all may have heard the news, the government shut down. Like, our company is not shut down yet because we're working off of funds that are available to us, but that will eventually happen if Congress does not pass budget. So, we're kind of this hybrid of not the government, but not this private industry either. We're a government contractor. So when Lynn Ken's talking about the defense and fighting against our adversaries, he literally means the adversaries of the United States of America, not just the adversaries of our company.
Oh, yeah, most definitely. Sorry.
I did not clarify it, so just for clarification.
Yeah, thank you.
All right.
Good to go. Yeah.
All right.
So this is just an example of some skills, technical skills that we have across the organization. This is not every job that we have, but it's just to sort of give you an idea of the types of things that we do. Collaborative technologies are things like O365, Teams, the BTC equipment, obviously databases, middleware, those things that live in the middle. There's an awful lot of commercial solutions. You know, supporting capabilities that you have to be able to manage. There are people who are really passionate about them. Think about IIS or Tomcat or Apache. There are people who that is what they do all day. This is where they live. Right? That's not my passion, but there are people who are passionate. And so if you have a passion across this vast expanse of capabilities, there's usually a spot for you to land where you can exercise that passion and really train it. To do things. Not sure if anybody has any questions about any of these things, but literally, I mean, if you can think of anything that we do, you know, people on our staff, day in and day out, and we're not talking about antiquated technology. We continually invest in our technical stack, whether that be migrations to the cloud or our software development ecosystem. All these things are invested in. So we typically government antiquated infrastructure, antiquated technology. That's not what we are doing. We invest in our infrastructure from a technical perspective. Now, the site is old. Right, it's been there for 75 years, and there is a need to reinvest in the structures that are there, the roads, the railways, anything with the steam piping. There's all sorts of things that we use upgrade. But as far as technology goes, a lot of really cutting edge stuff there. So these are the types of skills, and this next one are some of the software that we utilize to service the site. I mentioned Apache Tomcat. Server technologies in the middle. Oracle and SQL Server are database, enterprise database systems. OpenShift is what we use for our containerization, delivery, Kubernetes clusters, things like that, whether that be on-premise or in the cloud. We ship our workloads seamlessly to the end user. A server may be running on-premise at 12 o'clock, and at 1 o'clock it's running with the cloud, depending on workloads and things like that. Software developers use Visual Studio and Eclipse and VS Code. Our data analytics team, big data folks, you may hear Tableau and R and Python. Those aren't necessarily the core technologies that they use today. They use the Oracle suite that used to be Oracle. It's something Enterprise Edition. This is now Oracle Analytics Solution. That's a big data warehousing capability. Also important. So that's where all that is. And let's see, Esri we use for our GIS stuff. And so the list just goes on and on, right? These are just some of the tools that represent utilities that folks in those roles use. The application process. Yeah, I'm ready. So Elizabeth mentioned earlier that we are our core competency. I can tell you, when we interview people, we group our question by the core competencies. That's when you look at the postings, they're
going to be on there. Core competencies will be on every job posting, and they'll have different skills we're looking for. Then there's core competencies. So like, pay attention, right? And we're not the only company. So when you see those things, pay attention and think about your questions and responses based on the job posting. Like, save it, because a lot of times they'll just forget, right? You know, screenshot it. You have to, save it.
Yeah, knowing what job you applied to when you come in for the interview, that's a good thing. Right? So be sure that you know what you applied to. So saving it is key. Print it, PDF, whatever. But yeah, inspecting it for those very specific skills also that group, because it's incumbent upon the hiring hiring managers to group their questions by that's how your interview is rated, right? So those things have a weighting scale, and the questions are grouped in that way. So to that point about delivering results or any one of those things in our wheel, it's pretty easy to come up with 3 or 4 questions, especially if you use ChatGPT, about delivering results. Right? You need to give you some sample questions and go through those, practice some of those types of things. Anyway, you find our positions at this website. In a few minutes, we sort of sprinkled in here some QR codes to get to these places. But basically, the way it works, you go there, you create a profile. I recommend that you do that. We usually drop positions on Tuesdays, so it's a constant feed of full-time positions going out there just about every Tuesday.
And you can sign up for notifications for certain categories, so they can push you if you're graduating in the spring and you want to receive notifications. That's a great option.
Yes, yeah. So it's important to go ahead and create a profile there so that you can get those things. You want to go back just real quick? So it basically goes through it's important to tailor your resume to the posting. So if you're uniquely qualified for some things like that, I might ask you, I might be looking for a person with Java experience or C# experience. You need to list that in your resume because there's a person in talent acquisition who's not going to know really what that means. And so if I say I need someone with C#, but C# not on your resume, guess where it goes? It's sad, right? Because it doesn't meet the basic.
And it doesn't matter if that's a person or an AI tool that's doing it. If you don't actually type it into your resume, it's not going to get picked up. So you have to customize your resumes for the postings, whether you like it or not. I don't like doing it. No, y'all don't like doing it. It's a pain. But you have to do it to get the jobs. You have to.
Yes. So if you qualify, you meet those basic requirements. The hiring manager receives your resume. If you get selected as a candidate, so the hiring manager looks through all the resumes, scores them in a very consistent way. That leads to a smaller pool of resumes for interviews. The hiring manager selects you as a candidate. The recruiter will invite you to the interview. Now that could be telephone, depending on the type of position you're applying for. That could be via Teams, on the phone for like summer internships, or even in person. We've site and interviewed in some cases. If the manager picks you out of all the applicants, then you interact with that talent management person. They're going to be the person who's going to fill out these different forms. They'll provide you with your offer. So, what you're going to make. You mentioned not discussing wages during your initial interview. That it can be a little off-putting, but it is important. I go to work because of the pay. Everybody here wants to get paid, right? So it's not like it's not important, but I don't really have a lot of control. There's a group of people who make sure that that's fair and that you're getting paid a market rate and that our offers are competitive. So I might want to pay you $1 million, and they say that ain't happening because I wish I could do that.
But you may be able to counter offer, and you're welcome to do that if that's an option available to you. They will let you know if there are no counter offers available. Sometimes that is the case, and they'll say, this is the final offer, there's no counter offers available. And frankly, just be fair, that happens when there's an abundance of candidates and you're selected because they're not going to pay you $5,000 for a year if there's 700 people that also want the same job. And that's just unfortunately what the market does.
Yeah, precisely. And part of that is the hiring manager, the person you have to contact with, isn't going to necessarily be able to influence that significantly as well to really get across. So the person that is your talent management person, they really have the boots in, at least in our company. They're the ones who really have the most influence over that process. Then if you accept the offer, you go back and forth potentially. And for our positions, you have to pass a background check. Work in a government facility. You have to be subject to drug and alcohol testing, random drug and alcohol testing, any given day, every day.
And marijuana is not federally approved substance, so no matter where state you live in, it's not approved federally, and you can't partake in any kind of marijuana products.
Right, that includes THC. You can't have gummies or any of that kind of stuff. I actually interviewed were like, well, I mean, I can pass the drug, or they don't say I can pass the drug test. It's like with the take it eat drugs. Like, eventually it comes out, well, yeah, I do take a gummy now and then. I'm like, well, that's sort of disqualified.
Unfortunately, they still consider that drugs.
Yeah, that's drugs. Yeah. Anyway, that's just generally for the government. Little media information. All right, the next guy.
All right, so internships and apprenticeship opportunities. So they're found in the same place. The little QR code is in here. The little kind of star looking thing, like the FAM sign. It says most are billed by December. I'm gonna hold them all up while we were waiting to just kind of give you a heads up. Almost all of them are posted right now. The actual deadline for our company, I talked to our HR business partner on the way here today, and she said everything for next summer's internships has to be posted by November 13th. So they're either out there or they're going to be posted within the next month. We won't be posting anything else if you're looking for a summer internship by next year. All of our internships are paid for, and we also have an apprenticeship program. So Professor Dillon was asking, unfortunately, we do not offer internships during the calendar year. We only offer them during the school year. We offer them only in the summertime for internships. Our apprenticeship programs, however, are like year-round. They are more than your 400-hour requirement. They are approximately 2,000 hours. But we have many types of apprenticeships that we offer at SRNS, either through IT programs or other programs. But there's a lot of different ones, and you're paid based on the year you are in school, and as you progress through school in the program, you get increases in pay in those programs. So those are all posted at that same link, so you'll be able to find both the apprenticeships. We in contracts and supply chain have one post to have an apprenticeship opening now. I'm sure you guys have some probably apprenticeships openings, and then all of our internships pretty much are out there today. So would just say like, I called it big IT, he did little IT, and he said citizen versus enterprise. But contracts and supply chain, my organization that I'm part of, is we have our own little IT group, citizen IT group that does data analytics and support for our software systems. So we're going to hire 6 or 8 interns next summer, specifically in our smaller group that don't work for the enterprise team that are IT makers. Like they're going to be IT makers. You're going to come work for us and do an IT job. And there are organizations across the enterprise that are like this. So there is ample opportunity, like you could start in an organization like mine, familiarize yourself with the functional area and understand the way it works, and then transition into, apply for a job within Lynn's organization and be able to grow and diversify. So just want to reinforce that the 6,800 employees within the company, there's a lot of room for diversification and staying in the same place. We also offer tuition reimbursement. So that is important to know for get a job there as a permanent hire and looking to proceed to a master's program. We have tuition reimbursement opportunities, and we have student loan forgiveness for up to $5,700 a year for eligible employees. So these are all very enticing things that we want you to work for us. We want you to become a part of SRNS. All right, so you're going to get a copy of this deck. This is the details of the internship program and kind of the benefits of them. This is our internships over the summer. Our pay, they are very structured. You're going to have time you spend with your departments. You're going to have these opportunities to build resumes. You're going to have mock interviews. You're going to go meet leadership from across the company. You're going to give presentations to people. You're going to go do volunteer stuff. It's very structured. You're going to know you're going to have these events you're going to do all summer long, and we're going to drag you along to them. And it's a very structured experience. So you're not going to just be left to be like, what do I do next? Like you're going to know what you're going to do next. We're going to really hold your hand through that process for you to experience it. But you are going to need to be a U.S. citizen for any security cleared positions. So Lynn and I both have top secret clearances. A lot of people that work at the site have them. As an intern, you will not need them, but U.S. citizenship, or as we have come to find out, we refer to as domestic You would be a domestic employee or a business. Anything to add?
No, the only thing I can think of is our summer internships. I think almost all of them were set to in January 17th. So application. By then, yeah, I think that's the goal. But also that it runs the third week of May. So,
Yeah, you can begin as early as maybe the first week of May. Some, there are people that are in the National Guard that maybe start earlier. We make accommodations for people that have reasonable needs for accommodation, but they run pretty much May through August. If you need to stop in July, there's plenty of students that have to do that and return back to school. If you can't get here till the third week of May, that's also reasonable, but there's people that start from the 1st of May and go all the way through to August, but that does not have to be for particular students. Okay, so we have some opportunities for you to see what some of those apprenticeship roles are. These are the ones within Lynn's organization, in Enterprise IT. So these are just the names. So when you're on the portal, like I told you, I pulled it up, you're gonna see LSC Student Intern Data Integration, LSC Student Intern Data Analysis. These are the apprenticeship ones, but I'm reading some of the intern ones just so you know what they sound like. This is an interesting one. This is LSC Engineering and Tech Support Specialist. So that may be another one like ours that's embedded within another organization that is an IT discipline, but is not working for enterprise level IT. Okay, so for every single one of these, you can apply to all of them. They're all going to have different hiring managers. Don't apply to one and be like, well, I applied for an internship program and I didn't get it, but you didn't apply to the 60 other ones. Now, we just told you you needed to customize your resume. You are unlikely going to revise it 60 times, right? You're probably not. I will just say that your odds of getting picked up are going to be greater if you do a little revision in between and make sure you've met the requirements. But you read it and look through the advertisement, the requisition, you may find that it's pretty much the same thing. You can just resubmit. You don't have to edit it, but just read it, check it. If it doesn't need to be changed, then go ahead and submit it on. But there'll be different hiring managers for the most part. I may hire 6 of these because of my role in my organization. So may Lynn, but it could all be different. So it'd be to your benefit to apply to all of them. So there could be specialized skill sets we're looking for. Maybe for one, we decided we want a freshman and the others we want seniors or whatever our logic is. So you're better off if you apply for more. Okay. So this is more of, you have some opportunities once you get hired by us. We're not going to leave you on your own. We're going to have lots of organizations that we use to support you to employees and full-time positions. All right, so we're going to let you have Q&A for the last few minutes. I will say, if you're graduating, are there any of anybody graduating in May? Or how about December 1st? Anybody graduate in December? Okay. And then May graduates? Okay. Both of you need to start looking for full-time positions, May and December. And for December, if you see them posted as a full-time position and you're graduating in May, go ahead and start applying for them. Things take time, December definitely, but I'm not going to be mad at you if I can offer you a contingent offer. I could offer you, if you're the right candidate for the job, I could say, all right, I'll give you a contingent offer pending your graduation, potentially in May, but don't sleep on it. Don't wait till March and start applying. It will be too late. Like, you may miss opportunities. You need to start definitely in May, start in January, but you can start looking now. Go ahead and get your portal created, get those notifications going. We're a little limited right now because we're in the government shutdown, but things will change as soon as the budget's approved.
if you go back on, if you are good, yeah, so the site for job postings is here, and then our recruiting events.
All right, so questions. Yes, sir.
I saw that CrowdStrike was really listed software, so I was kind of wondering what your guys' incident response was like to whatever, what last 2 years
Oh, for CrowdStrike?
Yeah,
Yeah,
when
yeah.
they had like.
So actually, while the world was on fire, we were wrapping up. So we actually had someone with questioning attitude on the network operations center who saw some unusual traffic because of the nature of the CrowdStrike issue. And so he was actually able to make a phone call. We all got on a call, we shut down the network so the outbound traffic would stop and the outbound payments didn't affect every desktop. And so we were actually, there were about 30 some odd servers out of however many hundred that we had to rebuild. But we were able to actually stop that because of the nature of that monitor. So yeah, we were wrapping up when the doctor's office was saying, hey, you can't check you in today. And nobody can travel and all those sorts of things. That issue. CrowdStrike is a big player in cybersecurity.
Any other questions? Got 2 minutes?
For relocation or housing. The internships, we don't pay for, so the question was, do we pay for relocation? Those types of things. We don't pay for you to stay. You don't live in a period. You have to find housing. But we have USC there. And so that we have a partnership with them.
It's typically been $125 a month, which is costly, but not, or I think it's not, but it's not extreme, right? Like, I mean,
The summer internship coordinator works all the way out. Find those locations. Like we have people come from all over the country, right? So we do pay for you to come, go home. So like if you're, coming from there, you're from New York, get here. We'll pay that one trip at the beginning of summer. Yes, sir.
What if you lived in Lexington?
Yeah.
Could you still like make it commute?
Certainly. Yeah, yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean,
we have employees that live
Yeah.
further away than that today.
yeah, definitely. That's back to work to the site. We have employees all over.
And we typically run a 4-day work week, 10 hours a day. So that is very enticing to a lot of folks. That's a 3-day weekend every week, and we have 11 holidays a year. So almost once a month, you're getting a 4-day weekend.
Yes, sir.
So what would you say the percentages of hired interns are for your company? So that interns that go from being an intern to being full-time.
It's very high. I mean, I forgot what our numbers in IT were, but it was something like 65%, the last time I saw it.
Yeah, and we offer contingent offers to some interns. If they're a junior or rising senior, you might receive a contingent offer for your graduation that, we will be able to take you back. You'll know going into your last year of school, I don't even have to apply for jobs I've already got. And that's pretty nice.
Yeah. So there's like 200 and some odd interns every year across the company. We usually have around 20. Yeah. And we take this very, very
And
seriously. This is a
about
dress rehearsal.
60 get into contingent offers. So, that's over 25% are getting a contingent offer. And they're not all not all 200 are seniors.
No. Okay, so to go from an internship to a full-time position, I need a certification. Short of your degree. So within IT, we don't require standard certifications. Now, we need you to get certifications as part of your job that specialize in, like cybersecurity, for instance, they're all CIS. We pay for that training. Especially not in entry level. Yes, sir.
So you said there was no like clearance issue. If you were hired on,
It depends on the nature of your work. So he's asking about clearances, and all has to do with the type of work that you do. Not everyone, I would say a large percentage of the people who work like don't have to. But you are subject to all of the requirements, background checks, program, all of that. But clearance that's a whole talk in and of itself. It's got different
Don't get
phases.
stressed about that right now. Just letting you know that we do have them and there are people that may be asked, and in IT, you may be asked to get one, but it doesn't mean you have